Hello, this is OPAL Singleton of Exploited Crimes in Technology. We come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. Hey, a bunch of you have told me that you share this show with all your friends and relatives, but a lot of them aren't in this area, so they can't hear. Well, I want to remind you, you don't have to be right here in the Inland Empire in order to be able to hear this show. Tell them at 3 o'clock California time, go on AM590theanswer.com. That is AM590theanswer.com, and they can hear us live the same as you can. On top of it, these shows are all archived at millionkids.org. That is MILLION, millionkids.org. And you can go in under training, and you will see that these are archived right there, and you can go back and listen to particular shows. Another thing I want to share with you is that I hope that many of you will sign up for Million Kids Insider Alerts. You can either get that at millionkids.org or insideralert.org. And what they are is about once or twice, sometimes 3 times a week, depending on the week and whether I'm traveling or not. Yes, I'm traveling again. Thank you. Past COVID. But anyway, and what I do is do case analysis. We talk about new technologies, new legislation. We talk about the local cases here in Riverside County and even San Bernardino County. And so you get those by signing up to insideralert.com. Or excuse me, insideralert.org. Forgot about that. Okay, a lot is happening, and I just I had a hard time making up my mind what to start with. There is so much happening. So last week, I want to just kind of give you an update because we didn't have as much response to this as we really think that we ought to. And I get it. I want to talk about why a little bit also. But there is a bill that is quietly, very quietly, in the dark of night, weaving its way through Sacramento. And it has already passed the Senate. It's called SB 357. That's Senate Bill SB 357, and I can't say the word. I'm sorry about that. It's lorting. It basically means hanging around, but lorting for the purpose of engaging in a prostitution offense. That's what it's called. Now, I'm watching this bill every few hours because I want to know if it's going to pass. I believe, unfortunately, that it will, but I'm going to ask you to take action just in the hopes that maybe somebody on Sacramento Hill up there will come to their senses. This is absolutely one of the scariest things that's ever happened in the 13 years that I have been fighting sex trafficking, social media exploitation, child pornography. And yes, I fight for the rights of victims of sex trafficking. But this is not going to help. And what's scary is the way that they have packaged this so that almost nobody knows that it's happening. Well, I was talking to our district attorney over here in Riverside, Mike Hestron, the man who is a hero of mine. He doesn't know I say that, I'm sure. I doubt if he even hears this show. Maybe he does. Who knows? But I am grateful for Mike Hestron and this board of supervisors in Riverside County, and also for Sheriff Chad Bianco. None of them know I'm saying this. But I am grateful that they are people trying to fight the fight. And that's how I found out about it. If I were just a Joe Blow citizen, okay, Josephine Blow citizen, we're not allowed to be gender. We have to be gender neutral. Okay. Anyway, if I were a standard citizen, you would know about it. And I want to blow the whistle loud and clear and get you to pay attention. Now, I get the frustration about what are we going to do about it? I get these emails all the time by people that say, let's just castrate the buggers. Okay. And I get that. But that isn't going to help. We have to have rule of law. But this state is changing the rule of law as fast as we can, and it is not protecting our families or our children or your communities or your neighborhood. This bill, basically, it was introduced by Weiner, Senator Weiner, and had some co-authors along with it. Kalra is one of them, Carilla, Lee, Quirk, and Wicks. Got some interesting names for people passing a bill on prostitution, quite frankly. Anyway, it is amending this so that it is okay to have street prostitution. That's the basis to it. I won't read you the entire law, but basically it says that law enforcement will not be able to intervene on street prostitution. When I heard this from DA Hestron's office, I thought, what the heck? I'm on the radio. Really? You got to be kidding. Does anybody have any vision of where this is headed? I don't know about you, but I'm the old timer around here. I remember University Avenue. You couldn't get up and down it most of the time. It was full of drugs and pimps and street walking young ladies out there trying to sell prostitution, and pimps who were giving them quotas and beating them if they didn't, and and many times robbing the sex buyer and arranging all of this to happen. I remember over in San Bernardino, it was only about 3 years ago one time. I think it was either Fifth Street or Bayside. I can't remember, but I remember driving there after, in the evening, I'd been out doing a speech, and I counted 32 young ladies out there, women of the night, trying to make a deal and having pimps, hiding in the car, laying not far from them, waiting to take whatever money they earned. You could tell some of them had been slapped or beaten or burned. And I thought to myself, this has got to stop. And over the last few years, the Inland Empire has done a tremendous job between San Bernardino Police and San Bernardino Sheriff Department and their Human Trafficking Task Force and a lot of local police departments over there. They're still working, trying to clean up Holt Boulevard in Ontario, and the guys out in Hemet on Florida Avenue are cleaning that up and getting the girls some interception, getting them some assistance, giving them legal assistance and safe haven and a place to go and a chance to rehabilitate and get away from their pimp. And here we go again. And I'll tell you what is just frightening about this bill. There are almost no limitations to SB 357. In other words, it doesn't say this will only take place in certain blocks in an area. It will be taking place all over downtown areas in their businesses one more time. San Bernardino especially has spent literally millions trying to rehabilitate their downtown area. And here we go again. And the same thing with all these cities, Moreno Valley and Riverside and Ontario. But this has no limitations of where this can take place. It can take place anywhere out on street sex. And, think about what's going to happen. Pimps from all over the United States, this is going to be like, the gold rush one more time as people are bringing people in, as if we don't already have enough homeless people out there that are being taken advantage of. You are now going to have a state that has legalized street prostitution. And that means that right in front of your business, right in front of your home with your children. I last week talked about this, and I read some of the experiences they have in other states where their children can't go out to play because of the condoms and needles and the activity taking place in the back seat of a car out in front of their home, and that it goes on day and night, and drug users and drunken people and people cruising up and down the street. And this is what your leadership that somebody in the state of California elected has decided to lay upon the California people. And I say to myself, if we can't stand up against this, what are we going to stand up for? It hasn't passed yet. I check it hourly. I mean, it's very, very close. It has passed the Senate. It has passed the community or the Public Safety Committee in the Senate. It is currently in the Public Safety Committee of the Assembly and about to go for a vote in the Assembly. The way you tackle this is find out who your assembly person is and scream to the top of your lungs. Be polite, be professional. Do not riot, do not burn buildings down. That's what other people do. We don't do that. We have standards, and it isn't going to help to meet violence when you have something like this going. But neither can we slink away in the middle of the night and not protest this. We need to make our voices heard in a polite and honest way. My name is Opal Singleton. This is Exploited Crimes and Technology. We're up against that break, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the darknet will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Hey, there are many good restaurants in the Inland Empire, but really great restaurants are hard to find. Let me tell you about the Toasted Barrel in Corona. It's a trendy, upscale steakhouse with great pasta and seafood. It's a fantastic choice for birthdays and anniversaries or just that special night out with your loved one and friends. Inland Empire magazine has awarded them Best Restaurant and Brunch for the past 3 years. The owners, Ed and Shirley, are friendly and attentive to your needs. If you're a prime rib connoisseur, this place is for you. Go ahead and try it out. The Toasted Barrel, located at 1300 El Sobrante Road in Corona. Or Google them at Toasted Barrel to make reservations. I guarantee you, you're going to love it. Be sure and tell Ed and Shirley that Opal sent you. It will be a night you'll never forget.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sellers and buyers recognize that these low interest rates will not last. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton. Our organization is called Million Kids, MILLION, millionkids.org. Not .com, that's one of those crazy rock bands. So it's millionkids.org. If you think you're going to forget that, just think that more than 1 million kids have been trafficked throughout the world. And this is serious, even right here in the United States, but right here in the Inland Empire. I have been doing this work for 13 years, and I have never seen it reach this level of crisis. Up until the last 6 months, I have honestly thought that perhaps we could do something about it to stop it. But this is really going the wrong direction. It has to do with leadership. You know, I try, even though this is conservative talk radio, I try not to be political one way or the other because we have people on both sides of the aisle that care deeply about kids. But I'm going to tell you that this situation is deeply political. And we have to stand up and make clear what is happening. I'm gonna talk about this some more, but this is happening right at the time that we literally have 500,000 people crossing our border. And it is not the U.S. government that's deciding who gets in and who does not. It is the cartels that are making that decision. And a lot of those young people are very fine people who just want an opportunity. And, if we honestly enforce the legal system, they could get a shot at that opportunity. But by allowing to do away with the rule of law, what is happening here is that we're allowing in millions of young people, many of which will owe money to a coyote. I was talking to the producer before I went on the air, and one of the things that's very scary about what's happening at the border is the way we are financially empowering the expansion of cartels that are at our border. I don't know how many of you saw it, but just out of McAllen, Texas this weekend, 31 innocent people were murdered because cartels went up and down the street in that town and just started shooting people, the same as they do in many cities down in Mexico. And now we have the cartel, basically the coyote, deciding who's going to be allowed to get in, depending on how much they pay. And there are no checks. There are no restrictions. There is no control on that kind of thing. Now, if they do get intercepted and they are out there and they are seen by the U.S. government, then yes, if they have a background of criminal activity, they can be turned away. But there are thousands upon thousands and thousands that are not even being seen by our people because they're flooding our people with children and allowing MS-13 and Sinaloa and cartel people to sneak around the side. Just with the amount of people that came across that border in the last quarter represents more than $2.5 billion. That's with a B, that the cartel made just in one quarter. So you ask yourself, 2.5 billion, you can't even imagine what that looks like if you lay out that amount of money. But you say, where does that money go once the cartel gets it? Well, it isn't going to the Easter Seal Society. It is going to buy guns, and it's going to buy drugs, and it is going to expand the power of cartels all throughout South America and even into China, because yes, many Chinese people are coming through with this. We've had some cases right here in the Inland Empire. We had one of the Paredes family where the unaccompanied minor girls owed money to a coyote. They were recruited by a mother. They were put out for prostitution in massage parlors and skincare shops. And that money was laundered right back through Colton to Mexico. So at some point, they are going to have all the marbles. They're going to own all the money. They're going to control all the people, many of which are on our soil. And they are bringing in coyotes that stay and live amongst us and will infiltrate. And those people that got in, we're all excited for them because they have opportunity. But they are not free just because they're on our soil. They still owe money to people. And those people are getting more and more powerful, more weapons, more drugs. One of the things that I saw this week was an article, and this would be an insider alert. We put this out. Facebook, using Facebook and Facebook Messenger to recruit U.S. teenagers to borrow the family car and go to the border and help transport these people, including transporting drugs and guns. So they're not happy enough just bringing in people who owe them money and are being controlled by them and being placed in our schools. They are also trying to recruit our kids that are here. And this is a very serious situation. So you're looking at all those kids that are going to need to make money somehow, and pay back that coyote. Now, many of them sell flowers and oranges and offer to do yard work, and I know several. And they're wonderful, wonderful kids, and they're hardworking people. And I know some that have been here for years and years and years, and they're like family to me. And we talk about this. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I some gringo making this up? No, I know what I'm talking about. But here is what is scary. We legalize street prostitution and make it so that law enforcement cannot intervene. At the same time, you're admitting 500,000 people, many of them young people, every quarter that are going to need work and a place to live. And you're getting a situation that very few people are talking about. This is happening at the same time that Proposition 57 was engineered in such a way that 76,000 prisoners are about to get out early and come back to your community. 20,000 of them are sex offenders. So I say to myself, whatever happened to the fact that the government is supposed to protect the people? That we are supposed to set up rule of law where the bad guy gets apprehended and prosecuted and pays the price. But for whatever reason, we have cities within our state that have decided to defund the police. In Los Angeles, they've actually decided to take down the gangs unit. Hello, 90% of trafficking. That means gangs use their gang guys and put them on the dating sites and lure in our 13, 14, 15-year-old girls who do not realize they're about to be part of a gang and then are put out for sex trafficking. And this is all happening at the same time. Gascon, DA Gascon, is shutting down. Or over in LA, they're shutting down the gang task force. They took $130 million out of their police department, and now they want to do with enhanced sentencing. And they already got it through, thanks to our current vice president. They already got it through under Proposition 57 that people will not have to be enforced with their sentence that is enhanced sentence. What have I just said? If you're serving a 30-year sentence and 10 of it is your base sentence and the rest is guns and drugs and other things you've done or other sex offenses, then all you have to do is serve 7 of the 30 years and you will be out. And that is what is happening. They are doing away with those extra sentences that have already been sentenced. That is part of the people getting out of the prison early is not considering those enhanced sentence and not putting them in the future. And this all happened in our community under Proposition 57. So we have several things between the border crisis, between the fact on Proposition 57, 76,000 people getting out early, money being enhancing the cartels, millions of kids being brought in that owe money to a coyote. And their next step here is to legalize street commercial sex so that literally law enforcement cannot go out and intervene. And I think, I say to myself, what's it going to take before the public says, enough, I'm going to stand against this? I know it's easy. I get this myself. I think, what am I going to do? I'm one person. I happen to be one person with a microphone, and I'm going to use it. But I am one person, and it gets, sometimes, I tell my husband sometimes, this is like bailing out a tsunami with a teaspoon. How do you ever hold up against the onslaught about the leaders that we have chosen? But we have to do that. This is our children's future. And we need to take a lot of sober thinking before we go to another election and start to understand who these people are that are putting this in and what they really stand for. And is it something we want in our life? And read every word of those bills. That is the only way to stand against this. My name is Opal Singleton. We are up against this break, so stay with us and we'll be back in a minute.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.exploited.com. millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton. I am the president and CEO of Million Kids. I do want to take time out to recognize several people that I won't recognize them by name, but you know who you are. I know that, God has blessed me beyond measure in ways that I would never be able to do myself. Some of the finest people in the world support our organization. People who care deeply about their children and their grandchildren and your children, that will donate their money, donate their time, their expertise, their support to do whatever they can to support our organization. And I meet them. I'm about to do one again this evening, and I meet them, and I so much appreciate the people that take the time to support us, that go to millionkids.org and send us that check or make a donation online or send me words of encouragement. This business is hard business. This last year has been the hardest year of my career, and I've been doing this 13 years now. But, it's just a combination of many events that are just absolutely terrifying when you think about the fact that we've just come through an entire year of having kids online and making bad decisions. I mean, you put a 7-year-old online, they're not going back to their bicycle, but they don't understand what they're into, and they just want to be liked. And, we're starting to see apps like TikTok. Now, I'm on TikTok. I believe apps aren't good or bad, although there are some apps I prefer young people don't have. And Omegle, O-M-E-G-L-E, is one of them for what it's worth. But I'm on TikTok. There are good parts of TikTok. There's also a pornographic section of TikTok called TikTok Thought, T-H-O-T. But what we're starting to see around the world, we haven't seen so many cases here yet in the U.S., but I do global research when I research, and we are seeing this, especially out of India and Bangladesh. They have all these kids. Now, keep in mind, they're poor kids, and they're online with TikTok. And they think they've about been discovered and that they're going to make all this money in this contest or in a modeling deal. And then they sneak out many times and show up thinking they're going to get all this money and bring it back to their poor family, and they disappear. And that is the danger of where we're headed with this technology. Before I discovered this thing with SB357, one of the things that is a concern is that technology is moved to a point where our kids will have 1 million followers or 5 million followers or 5 million likes, and they can text back to our children. So I wrote a book, Societal Shift, A World Without Borders, A Home Without Walls, as we talk about where that's headed and how vulnerable our kids are going to be. But now we're adding to it the fact that you're bringing in 500,000 kids that you don't know anything about that will be placed in our schools, and some of them will recruit our kids into prostitution. It is what they have to do to survive. Not all of them will. Many of them will take advantage of the great opportunity and work hard and do well. But many of them owe money to a coyote, and they will take some shortcuts in selling drugs or recruiting for prostitution. But now, if we legalize prostitution, where is this going to go? I want to get back to this discussion about SB 357. One of the things that's really, I want to say unsettling, but surprising to me, is normally when a state, this is the beginning of for the whole state to legalize all prostitution. That's exactly where it's going. They're starting with street, but there is a strong sex workers union in America, and especially in California. And there's been a lot of talk for a long time now to legalize prostitution. There's actually been quite a bit of talk about legalizing pedophilia. It was called MAPS, Minor Attracted Persons. And they're trying to make this seem like, you're prudish if you're against this. I really want to share with you what happens if you legalize. If you legalize prostitution, for instance, in Nevada, there's health checks on those providers. And by the way, there are male sex providers also, not as many, but, and basically what Weiner is saying here is that this needs to be done because you're discriminating against people of color and the LGBT community. And so therefore, the police should not be able to focus on them because they're the most likely people that are involved in this. Well, this is crazy because there are no limitations. In Nevada, at least you get STD checks. You get various kinds of health checks. You have law enforcement that can come in and interview the girls to make sure that they're not being trafficked. Even though it's legalized up in Nevada, more than 37% of the kids of the women interviewed have a pimp and are being trafficked. So legalizing it doesn't do away with pimps in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I'm going to tell you it's going to be like putting cheese on a mousetrap, that you are literally going to attract pimps from all over the United States, maybe even all over the world, as we have already seen many cases here of your Asian massage parlors, your Chinese massage parlors, and Thai and Taiwan and Thailand and Vietnam and Cambodia, women being brought over here legally and put into massage parlors where they literally will work 18, 20 hours a day. They are living on ramen noodles. They don't get the money that is paid. They often get beaten. They're moved around about every 4 or 5 days so they can't bond with the sex buyer. And people need to explain to sex buyers that their money is going back to some Chinese cartel or some Mexican cartel, and that they themselves are exposing themselves and their families to that. Well, if you legalize street prostitution, just imagine what's going to happen. Right now, most sex buying takes place online on sex ads. And that gives law enforcement a chance to work the ads and see who's out there that might be a minor. I just did a presentation this last week in Kingman, Arizona, training the Arizona probation department and law enforcement, a bunch of people over there, social workers. And I ran across a girl. I always look at the sites when I get there. I don't recommend you do that. I've been trained how, and I also have special virus situation. But I looked, and this one girl's on there. I swear she isn't a day over 11. And she is for sale on a sex site. And of course, being a small town, they think it's not happening there, but it is happening there because these people put these kids out on a circuit and they're on their way to the river over there with all those casinos. And like that. So there will be no protection. There will be no protection for the businesses that are operating behind with them out working it. There will be no protection for the girl for diseases, or by the way, for the sex buyer for diseases. And on top of it, it will accelerate because if the law says that street prostitution is legal, these pimps will simply advertise you online and set up your date at 5th and E Street. Or University in Chicago. And you will start to have a significant change in your community. This is really, really scary. But also think about our children, because they're going to watch all of this. This may be taking place in front of their home, and they won't be able to go out, and they will see what is happening. And so I think that this is the single most stupid idea I have heard in a long time. But quite frankly, those people up there don't seem to value our opinion. But we need to be heard. We cannot allow this to go down as we slink around in the dark trying to fight David and Goliath. They need to at least hear our voice that this is absolutely a no on SB 357 in the Assembly right now. It's already passed the Senate. It's in the Assembly. and it's in the public safety. And you can go on and Google, put in SB357 status, and you will see, you can follow the bill and see the wording on that bill. You know, this does not eliminate discrimination. This will target people that are poor, people that are minorities, people that are easy to be recruited in, and it will bring them in from around the nation in a way that will be operating in front of your home and your business. This is absolutely insane. But what is really the spit in the eye is the way this is quietly making its way through Sacramento without people even hearing about it. And so I'm going to ask you to think it over, and I hope you will do something. My name is Opal. You can reach me at opal, OPAL, at millionkids.org. Might take me a day or so to catch up because I travel a lot, but I need your help. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at RE/MAX Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at RE/MAX Realty, 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about the possibility that we might have street prostitution. It is starting to look like a very real deal. Well, while I'm talking about that, I want to just share with you something else that is going on that is a victory of sorts, if you will, in our business. Because up until at least as we speak, most sex trafficking is taking place generated online. And the value of that is that law enforcement can work the online ads and work the porn sites and find out who's being exploited and set up undercover operations and get sex buyers and get the people that are basically pimping out the women. And so that is the value of doing this online. If they dissolve all that and just allow it to be street sex, we won't have a clue who's out there and we won't be able to help in any way. But one of the things that happened down in San Diego is a huge lawsuit that's going on. Headline, if you want to Google this, dozens of women sue Pornhub for posting videos without their consent. And then another headline on here, 20-year sentence in Girls Do Porn Sex Trafficking Conspiracy. Girls Do Porn was part of Pornhub. They're really, really getting this organization unraveled. Until January of this year, Pornhub was the largest porn site in the world. I can't exactly remember the numbers, but they were just absolutely mega numbers of the number of people that were looking at this. I had all of this down here somewhere about how big they were. Anyway, the numbers are just absolutely staggering of the number of porn sites, something like 86,000 downloads a minute. And it turned out that a large portion of their business was amateur videos, housewives sending in photos, picking up some extra money. Our kids, they had to take down, when they started getting sued because they had all this child pornography on there. And when they got ready to take it down, they took down almost 10 million videos, more than almost 75, 80%. Videos, and a lot of those were children's pornography, but it was our teenagers who was sending in photos. They had created a promotion that said you could make $40,000 a week as an amateur pornographer, and literally tens of thousands of our kids. As I said, they had to take down almost 10 million videos. So really, literally millions of kids around the world sent in photos thinking they were going to make a lot of money. Well, along with it, they had a subdivision. By the way, the man who owns Pornhub, one of the three, one of them, had their big mansion up in Montreal, Canada, burned down in the last couple of days. They believe it's arson. I'm thinking somebody's trying to get their photo destroyed. I don't know. But also, the head guy on this thing is on the run, and they're trying to find him. He's Pornhub is owned by an organization called MindGeek, and he is on the run. Well, since then, what has happened is 30 women have sued MindGeek. And it was an interesting thing here because what they're looking at here is that they were duped. There's a large legal attorney group out of Canada that's running all of these lawsuits called Brown Rudnick. I can share all this. We'll have it on our Facebook site and also probably on our webpage, I think, or one of our. We run a lot of podcasts on Spotify and some of those. The women alleged they were victims of sexual exploitation, rape, and trafficking. And they were first victimized by their original abusers, and then, of course, they're posted on porn sites all over the world. So they weren't there voluntarily. They were duped. I cannot say this girl's name. Serena Fleetkis, it looks like, is the only woman named in the legal action. There are 33 Jane Does. They said that Pornhub has continued to upload and disseminate the information featuring rape videos, non-consensual sex, violence, and victimization done by revenge porn, spy cam videos of women showering, racist, misogynist content, and footage of women being asphyxiated. So when you get to reading the hardcore elements of this, these women thought that they were going to modeling with their clothes on, and they were sucked into these modeling contracts, flown to San Diego, all expenses paid, made a couple of clothes on videos, and then they began to abuse them and tell them that they had to do part of the contract they signed, whether they realized it or not, said that they had to do porn videos, and otherwise they would be hit with a huge fine and have to pay back all their flight and all their information. And they were kind of put into these porn videos, and now they're being violated. Those videos, once you get involved in one of these things, they'll be watched millions of times, and you'll never be able to get them back. And this really happened to a lot of kids who make them when they're 13 or 14, and then they're ready to get into college, and they're being blackmailed. They can't get into college. All the kids are seeing it. They're getting harassed, and those companies will not take those videos down, including Twitter, by the way. There's over 1 million of those videos of our teenagers that sent those photos and can't get them down. So I just share this with you because all of this is happening together. And if you start to bring it all together, you just say to yourself, this is just a bit overwhelming. But don't let it overwhelm you. We must stand against it. I know you're only one person and I'm only one person, but I'm a person with moral values. And I want my children to have moral values and my grandchildren to have moral values. And regardless of what is taking place in our society, the way we teach our kids to stand against this is don't take easy money. Easy money will be the most expensive money you ever earn. You get involved in starting to haul people up from the border or selling drugs or going to one of these photo shoots or sending off your photo, you will pay a price. I share with kids, every time you do what's right instead of what's easy, you get character. And you only get one life. And you have to make decisions in that life about what you're going to do with your life. You can make it a life where you can do well, where you can succeed, where you can be a leader, where you can help others, where you can be proud of who you are and what you stand for. Or you can take shortcuts. You can take easy money. You can send those photos. You can get sucked in by some guy on the internet, and you will pay that price for the rest of your life. The way that you don't become a victim is you know who you are, what you stand for, and that you're proud. And don't be low-hanging fruit. Look these guys in the eye and tell them to flip off or some other less Christian term. I don't care what language kids use. I just want them to know you get a choice. You have one life. You can take the high road or you can take the low road. But I guarantee you, if you take the low road, you'll have no ability to understand how low that road is going to go. You don't just go down it a little ways. It's a slippery slope. And it is really scary when you start to see the conditions in our society. If there is ever a time in our lives that we need to be parents and grandparents and take the high road and teach our kids a high road, regardless of what is going on around us, it is today. And that is what drives me on. That is why we're going to have a movie. It'll be out in about 4 to 6, maybe 8 weeks at the most, but not long now. And we're on our way with that. But it takes leadership, and I need your help. I want to thank each and every one of you that support what we do. You know, we take calls, and I have had a slew of them in the last week that are just downright scary. We sit with parents that are just heartbroken because their child took the low road. You know, we sit with kids who are regretting their action and willing to turn that around. And I do believe that's something we need to share with our kids. There is no such thing as damaged goods. I believe the fear of damaged goods is the greatest fear of all mankind, man, woman, and child. But we don't have to stay there. Everybody makes mistakes. But they can stop and they can turn it around. They can ask for forgiveness and they can decide, I am going to be something, be somebody, and I'm going to be proud of who I am. And I am not going to be easy to recruit or be manipulated by somebody. I am very concerned about SB357. I would ask you to please write your assemblyman immediately. Call them. Let them know absolutely not that they will not get reelected if they vote for that. And let's keep our word on that. If there is any time in our lives we have to stop everything and stand up, it is right now. There's a reason they're keeping that thing quiet. And we're not going to allow it. Let's shout it to the top of our roof. Share that with your church. Share it with your email. Share it with your Facebook. Even if you get taken down, it'll be worth it. Trust me, been there, done that. This is Opal Singleton, Exploited Crimes and Technology. We so much appreciate each and every one of you. Put your arms around your kids this week. Let them know how proud you are of them. Look at your spouse and tell them you're lucky that you have them in your life. Take good care of each other, and we'll see you next Saturday at 3 o'clock on AM 590.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.